Hello friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of Mike's Choice 1. As you know, we've been taking you along on our journey through some of the most exotic places in Australia, this time exploring the beauty in and around Cairns, Queensland. Today was an incredibly special day for me. As a child, I had often heard about the Great Barrier Reef. Later, as a Navy officer, I dreamed of one day diving into its crystal clear waters. And today, that dream finally came true. What made it even more meaningful was knowing that some of our friends and relatives had requested we capture videos from the reef to use as educational material for children. That added a wonderful sense of purpose to this adventure. So come along with us as we explore the wonders of the Great Barrier Reef, one of the most breathtaking natural treasures on our planet. We have arrived at the counters of Reef Magic Tour Operator. There are few tour operators who would take you to Great Barrier Reef, and we chose this operator. After collecting our entry tickets, we made our way down to Pier number 10, the air buzzing with excitement and the smell of the sea all around us. These tours are so popular that you have to book well in advance, and for good reason. Our adventure included a trip out to the world-famous Great Barrier Reef. Out on the horizon, a floating pontoon waited for us, anchored right above the reef, our gateway to this incredible underwater world. Here is our team before getting on board Reef Magic. Actually, there was another group who flew at the same time that will join us for this tour. And now the crew are welcoming us on board. Once there, the options were endless. Snorkeling in crystal clear water teeming with colorful fish, diving deeper for a closer look at the coral gardens, or hopping aboard a semi-submersible to watch the reef life drift by without even getting wet. It was the kind of place that reminds you just how alive the ocean really is. When on board, you could enjoy a cup of coffee or tea. If you want, you could also order a drink. Crew even handed over some tablets to counter possible seasickness. Here you see the other group who flew at the same time from Melbourne. Actually, it is Sonat, the brother of Pradeep, and his family. They were excited to do this tour with us. This is the front cabin area of this vessel. That is where they would be making presentations to the travelers on various matters. Let us listen to the safety announcements and then brief from the crew.
And where it is kept and how to use it. On the main deck, life jackets are stowed.
The Walla Pyro Udinji group, the Gungandji group, and the Irrigandji group. I'd like to pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and I'd like to forward our respects to anyone on board with us today. Alright, so my name is Jake. I am your marine biologist on board. We also have Will, who is our work experience marine biologist, and we have Kelsey, who will be on our semi-sub today. If you do have any questions about the reef, anything like that, definitely come find one of us and we will answer all your questions. Now, I do run two different types of snorkel tours. However, they are full, so we will take expressions of interest. We will have a wait list if anything does come available. So the first tour is our snorkel experience. Now that is for if you are uncomfortable in the water, need help getting in the water, using your mask, snorkel, things like that. And that one is a half an hour tour, and I pull you around on a life ring. Now I do get to show you some pretty cool stuff and give you a bit of knowledge about the reef. The other one that we do is called our snorkel safari. So this one, we go out to the reef wall, about 20 meters deep, and if the visibility is very good, we get to see some pretty cool stuff. Once again, you do have that knowledge coming from me. However, this one you have to snorkel on your own for a full hour. Once again, those tours are full. However, we will take expressions of interest.
Instructors with us as well. We have Freya, Martin, and Amber. So together the four of us are here to get you underneath the surface today. We offer 3 tours, the first of which being for our certified divers. That's those of you that have already gone off to scuba school, you've proved your worth, and you would like to come out on a guided tour with us today. We offer 2 of those certified dives, the first of which being in our lagoon area. That's close to us, it is most of our snorkel area. That dive is lovely. We go to a maximum depth of roughly 14 meters, and it does run for a max depth time of 45 minutes.
We are still in the restricted waters, meaning that we are in the shipping area. So the craft will not travel at the full speed, but you can see other vessels around us too. Let me take you to the aft of the vessel. That's the rear section, for those new to nautical terms. In shipping has its own language, and aft is one of those words that instantly puts you at sea. From here, you can watch the wake trail out behind us, white foam curling and fading into the blue. It's one of my favourite spots on any boat. Peaceful, steady, and alive with the sound of the engines and the sea. If you're someone who's prone to seasickness, this is where you'll want to be. The breeze back here works wonders, and the fresh salt air helps settle the stomach. Standing with me at the aft entrance of the cabin are the two brothers, their smiles wide, eyes fixed on the horizon. Above us, 3 flags ripple in the wind, one representing Australian marine vessels, another the Aboriginal flag, and the third the regional flag, all proud symbols of where we come from and where we are headed. Personally, I love catching a bit of sea spray. It takes me straight back to my Navy days. There's something about that sting of salt on your face that feels honest, grounding. Now, we've arrived at the pontoon, the floating gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. Time to step off, gear up, and dive into the day's adventures. Now we are lining up to board the semi-sub, a sleek vessel that promises a window into the reef without ever getting wet. From the outside, it looks small, but once you step below deck, the magic begins. Wide glass panels run along both sides, giving us a front row seat to the underwater world. A marine biologist joins us on board, her voice calm and clear over the speaker system. As we glide above the coral gardens, she points out the intricate shapes and colors: staghorn corals, brain corals, soft corals swaying like underwater forests. Schools of fish flash past, and she names them one by one, weaving facts into stories that make the reef feel alive, ancient, and fragile all at once. It's a quiet kind of wonder. No splashing, no noise, just the hum of the engine and the slow drift through one of nature's greatest masterpieces.
Now, along our semi-sub journey, we do pass through a few different habitats. So I like to talk about the different formations of corals that we see in each habitat, the different fish that those bring with them as well. So where we are at the moment, this is the lagoon side of the reef. So you might have seen that outer wall of the reef where the waves were breaking. So here it's a lot calmer, there's less wave action. So on this side we see more of those branching corals. So they're the ones that look like trees or bushes that don't have any leaves on them. Now branching corals are very fast growing. They grow about 30 centimetres every year. But because they grow so fast, that means that they're very brittle. So they are the first ones that break off when there are storm events. So that's why we see them growing on this side of the reef, where it is a lot calmer. Now in between the patches of live coral, you might also notice a little bit of coral rubble. To see a little bit of coral rubble on the reef. It's similar to seeing sticks and leaves on the forest floor, so it's always going to be there. And it's almost meant to be there. It does provide a very good food source for fish that are herbivores, like parrotfish. But you'll notice with this coral rubble, it's mainly that branching coral, so you can tell by its shape. Now some of the fish fall aggregations that we see in our lagoon side, if you look nice and close to those branching corals, you can see lots of it's a very fast growing coral, but it's also very quick dying. So it does provide the foundation of the rest of the reef to grow. Now if you look to the right hand side, you'll see a little patch of brown. And basically they've had to do this reef restoration project because in 2011, there was a huge cyclone that came through and wiped out 90% of the coral coverage through this reef. So most of the coral that we're looking at is only about 10 years old, so it's pretty new growth. So you can kind of see those frames out the back there. So basically what they are, it's a stainless steel hexagon shape with that crossover in the middle. And then those frames have been covered in a coral sand with silicone.
Those ones, huh?
And then divers have gone down, placed these frames with little fragments of coral, which they call fragments of opportunity. So the first ones that were placed were about 3 years ago, and they've been placing them every 6 months ever since then. Now you might notice with those ones back there, those ones are the oldest ones, so they're about 3 years old, and you've got spaghetti coral. Now these spaghetti corals, their skeleton is primarily made up of water and calcium carbonate spicules, so little needle-like structures inside of those corals. Now these little fish that we can see, these are all little damselfish. Now damselfish, they feed on plankton. So that's all the stuff at the very bottom of the food chain, so we can't see it with our own eyes. Now the fish that are a little bit further out from the coral, they're fusiliers. So they feed on plankton as well. But some interesting behaviours with the fusiliers is that they always hang out on the side of the bombing where the current is. Now these corals, they actually produce a fluorescent pigment, which protects them from the sun. So it's not a particular species that does it, it's just an individual adaptation. Now where we are now, this is the back reef slope. So some fish species I can see here, I can see some yellow ones. So if you see some yellow ones, then they've got a black band over their eye. These ones are rabbit fish. So rabbit. Now all this branching coral through here, this is primarily staghorn coral. Now with the staghorn coral, you might notice the tips of the coral are actually white. And that's actually the skeleton of the coral. So when corals grow, they grow from the tips outwards. So that means the animal part of the coral polyp, lays down that skeleton first, and then it will move out into that part of the coral. Well, there's a turtle on the left-hand side, a green sea turtle. So on the Great Barrier Reef, there's 6 different species of marine sea turtles. Most commonly we see the green sea turtle. Now male green sea turtles, once they hatch, they spend their entire life out at sea. But females, when they hatch, they'll spend about 20% of their life out at sea. Another predatory fish, if we look past these fusiliers, there's some red bass. So they're the kind of angry looking fish. They're a little bit red in colour and they've got bright orangey yellow eyes. So red bass, they're carnivores as well.
Here we go.
And the cool thing about red bass is they're actually one of the longest living fish species. So they live until they're 80 years old.
What the here we go.
The tips outwards, so that's their white skeleton around the edge. So they grow their skeleton first before the animal part of the coral moves into it.
That marked the end of our journey in the semi-sub, a quiet, mesmerizing glide through the world beneath the waves. Back on deck, the sun felt warm again after the cool blue of the reef below. Now we are heading toward the fish feeding platform at the pontoon. Visitors gather along the edge, peering over the rail or through the glass panels built into the sides. From here, you can see the reef fish up close, flashes of color darting through the water as they swirl and gather for their meal. Trevally, butterfly fish, wrasse, all kinds of reef dwellers glide just beneath the surface, their scales catching the light like scattered jewels. It's a lively, almost playful scene. Hope you can see this big one, which is a very special one at this place. The humphead wrasse is an enormous coral reef fish, growing over 6 feet long, with a prominent bulge on its forehead. Some of them live to be over 30 years old. They roam through coral reefs in search of hard-shelled prey such as mollusks, starfish, or crustaceans. After the feeding session, we were free to swim or snorkel in the same area, a swirl of color and motion just beneath the surface. The water shimmered with life. Fish of every shade darted around us, unbothered by our presence, as if we were part of their world for a moment. There's Yuvan, drifting effortlessly among them, surrounded by flashes of silver and blue, a scene that looks almost unreal. I did the same, slipping into the water to join that living kaleidoscope, but the cameraman could capture a very small clip. Just the memory, mine alone, of floating among the reef's quiet beauty. Next, I'm taking you with me into the coral reef itself. But I have to say, my camera wasn't built for this kind of underwater magic. No lens can truly capture what it feels like to be down there, surrounded by the Great Barrier Reef in all its living color. The light changes first, soft, rippling beams filtering through the surface, dancing across the coral below. Then the world goes quiet, except for the sound of your own breath. Fish drift past like living brushstrokes, and the reef stretches out in every direction, vast, fragile, and impossibly beautiful. I'll show you what I managed to film, but just know this, the real experience lives not in the footage, but in the memory of being there. Let me take you around the pontoon. They had all the facilities to cater our stay for few hours. But on that day by afternoon water got choppy. So they even had to cancel the helitours that were scheduled, as the helicopter could not land on the relevant pontoon that it was supposed to land. Just imagine if someone had a medical emergency helivac, would be very difficult on such a day. They do serve lunch at this place, and it was great. They even had a Sri Lankan curry, and I am not certain whether they had a Sri Lankan-born chef, like Peter Karuvata, someone who had Sri Lankan origin. But by the time I started capturing these videos, it was late and they had cleared the lunch. This is the area where you would find wetsuits for underwater diving. You could easily find a size suiting to you. Similarly, you will also find fins and masks. After using them, you have to place those in the used area. Now let us head to the next level of this place. That would be an area for someone to relax or have their meals. There is also a mini biology study center in this place. I did go in, but the marine biologist was not in that place at that moment. This is the Lifesavers watch point. By around 3:30 in the afternoon, it was time to leave the pontoon and make our way back to land. The engines rumbled to life, and as the reef slowly faded into the distance, a quiet sadness settled in, that bittersweet feeling of leaving something extraordinary behind. The Great Barrier Reef isn't just a destination, it's an experience that lingers long after you've left its waters. One crew member remains on the pontoon overnight, keeping watch over the equipment and ensuring everything stays safe until the next day's visitors arrive. It's hard to imagine having the reef all to yourself, surrounded by that endless stretch of sea and sky. On the way back, the crew treated us to a cultural performance, a demonstration of the yigi yigi and other Aboriginal instruments. The deep, rhythmic sounds rolled across the deck, blending perfectly with the ocean breeze. It was the perfect farewell, a reminder of the land's deep roots and the people who have called it home for thousands of years. I'll let you enjoy those original videos. They capture the moment better than words ever could.
Okay, now, as you can see, folks, played single one beat at a time, flat on top of each other, just like this. Now for these smaller ones I have, they were mainly for our for the women and children and extras pretty much. Now how are they played? Also they are played in an X shape, every third to fourth beat, just like this.
As the cultural performance came to an end, I noticed the channel marker buoys sliding past outside the window, silent sentinels guiding us home. That was the first sign we were nearing land, our journey almost over. Moments later, the skyline came into view, the city rising clearly against the late afternoon light, shimmering above the water. After a day surrounded by nothing but sea and sky, the sight of land felt both familiar and strange, a quiet reminder that every adventure eventually circles back home. As we walked back toward our vehicle, something bright and lively caught my eye, an Italian festival unfolding right there in Cairns. Music, laughter, and the smell of freshly cooked food filled the air. The streets felt alive again after a day spent on the open sea. Next, we wandered through the Cairns shopping district, weaving between food stalls and souvenir shops bursting with colour and character. Each corner had something new, handmade crafts, tropical treats, and the easy rhythm of a city that welcomes everyone. Then I saw him, a craftsman standing behind a small torch, blowing molten glass into delicate shapes. The glowing glass twisted and shimmered under his steady hands, turning into tiny works of art right before my eyes. It was mesmerizing to watch. I couldn't resist picking up a small piece, a perfect keepsake for the person who stayed home, a little spark of this journey to bring back with me. We wrapped up the day with some dinner at the food court. So many choices, we had to try a bit of everything. After that, we drove back to Port Douglas for the night to rest up and get ready for tomorrow's adventure. Hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us to the legendary Great Barrier Reef, and we'll catch you in the next video. Please like, share and subscribe us. Thank you for watching us.